Today, we're going to do something ambitious. We're going to distill the core genius of Josh Kaufman's incredible book, The Personal MBA. We're talking about the absolute essential mental models you need to understand how any business, and I mean any business, really, truly works. So let's get right into it.
So the book kicks off with a pretty provocative question, right? Is that traditional MBA, that piece of paper that costs over $200,000 and years of your life, actually worth it? It's a huge debate, and the core idea here is that maybe, just maybe, you don't need the crazy debt and the time off to master the stuff that really matters.
And this quote, it just perfectly captures the spirit of what we're doing. We're not here to just accept what the old textbooks say. We're here to be a little irreverent, to question things, to strip business down to its bare essentials, and see what actually makes it tick. That's the whole game. Because here's the big secret. Business isn't some kind of dark art. It's definitely not rocket science. It's a system. And that system is built on a handful of universal principles that you can actually learn. And these principles work whether you're running a lemonade stand or a multinational corporation. Once you get them, the world of business just opens up. So let's start at square one. Before you can build or improve a business, you gotta know what it actually is. And it turns out every single business on this planet, deep down, shares the exact same blueprint. And here it is, the 5 parts of every business. The real power here is just how simple it is. If you're missing even one of these, you don't have a business. You might have a cool project or hobby or maybe a charity, but it's not a sustainable business. You have to create something valuable, people have to want it, they have to pay for it, you have to deliver it, and you've got to make enough cash to keep the whole thing going. That's it. That's the whole puzzle. But value can mean a lot of different things. In fact, there are at least 12 standard ways to create it. You could have a physical product, like a phone, or a service, like a haircut, or something a little more abstract, like a subscription to a streaming service, or even audience aggregation. That's what magazines and TV channels do. They get a bunch of eyeballs in one place and then sell access to advertisers. The form you choose really defines your entire business model. And you can be really clever with how you package that value. Think about bundling. That's when you combine a bunch of things into one big offer, like your phone bundled with a data plan. The opposite is unbundling. That's taking one big thing and breaking it into smaller pieces, like how iTunes let you buy one song instead of the whole album. Both are super powerful ways to give customers what they want. Now, every business also has to make a huge choice. Are you all about convenience, or are you all about fidelity? Domino's is the king of convenience. It's fast, it's easy, it shows up at your door. A fancy pizzeria, on the other hand, is all about fidelity, the quality, the experience, the emotional impact. Here's the catch. You can't be the best at both. The most successful businesses pick a lane and they own it. Okay, so we've got the mechanics of business down. But a business is totally useless without people. So to really get it, you have to understand us, the weird, irrational, wonderful humans who make it all happen. And this is where it gets really, really fascinating. I mean, this quote just nails a core part of human motivation, doesn't it? We're all driven by this desire for status, for more, for better. That feeling of, I'm not quite there yet, is what gets us out of bed in the morning. And businesses that tap into these deep psychological drivers, they're the ones that build a real, lasting connection with their customers. A really useful way to think about this is something called ERG theory. It's kind of like a simplified, more practical version of Maslow's hierarchy. So first, we all need our basic existence needs met: food, shelter, safety. Once that's covered, we move on to relatedness, finding friends, family, connection. And finally, once we feel secure and connected, we chase growth, getting better at things, learning new skills. If you know where your customers are on this ladder, you know what they truly care about. Okay, now for one of the biggest psychological cheat codes out there: loss aversion. Get this. Our brains feel the pain of losing something about twice as strongly as the pleasure of gaining that exact same thing. It's why limited time only offers are so effective. We're not motivated by getting a good deal, we're terrified of missing out on one. It's a hugely powerful force. All right, so we've covered what a business is, and we've talked about the people inside and outside of it. Now for the million-dollar question. How do you actually build this thing so it works, grows, and doesn't just, fall over when things get tough? Let's talk about a magic word: scalability. See, a business that needs one specific person's time and effort to deliver value can't grow. Why? Because humans don't scale. You can't clone yourself. But you know what does scale? Systems.
The secret to massive growth is to design your business so it can serve 10,000 customers just as easily as it serves 10. And that almost always means creating great systems.
Check out this number, 94 billion. That's roughly how many beverage cans are made in the US every single year. So a while back, designers made a teensy-weensy change to the can that saved a fraction of a penny's worth of aluminum. Doesn't sound like much, right? But when you multiply that tiny saving by 94 billion, it adds up to billions of dollars. That, right there, is amplification. A small change in a huge, scalable system can lead to absolutely massive results. So what happens when your system gets stuck? Well, there's a brilliant playbook for that called the 5 focusing steps. First, you find the one single thing that's holding everything else back, your bottleneck. Then, you squeeze every last bit of performance out of it. After that, you redesign your entire system to support that one constraint. And only then, if you have to, do you spend money to improve it. Once you fix one bottleneck, another one will pop up, and you just start this cycle all over again. It's a loop of constant improvement. I love this analogy for thinking about strategy. Is your business a tiger or a turtle? The tiger is all about power, speed, and aggression, and that's great until the environment changes. The turtle, though, it relies on a strong defense. It's built for resilience, ready for anything. And in a world that's always changing, being a tough, resilient turtle is often a much, much smarter bet for the long haul. And that brings us to the final and maybe most important idea. Getting your personal MBA isn't a one-time thing. It's not a course you finish. All these principles are tools you use for a journey that never, ever ends. So let's just quickly recap the big ideas. 1. Business isn't magic. It's a learnable system. 2. It's always about creating value for other people. 3. Understanding how people think is your secret weapon. 4. Resilient systems win in the long run. And 5, the real education happens when you're out there trying things, experimenting, and learning as you go. And we'll end on this quote from BC Forbes, because it really says it all. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you have a formal degree or not. Your success, your path, it all depends on you. You have to be the one to steer your own course and do your own thinking. These principles are the map, but you're still the one driving the car. The only question left is, where are you going to go?